Hey, good evening. Welcome to After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. I am your host, the romantic funny man, Shawn Cornelius. And tonight I have a very special show tonight, a wonderful guest. I'm excited. I'm surprised that I can even talk. I feel like I'm going to stumble over my words and everything, but we'll see what happens. So before we bring her in and get it going, guys, everyone, please, as we normally do, just share this from my page and let your friends see it and your friends see it and your other friends see it. And thank you for supporting After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. All right. This is a great show tonight. It's going to be awesome because I have a very talented lady coming in and she's just so bubbly. I've seen some of her other conversations and interviews. She has a great personality. She's talented, and she's a former member of En Vogue and Lucy Pearl, and they all have put out some great music. And still to this day, dance to some of that stuff. Dance Tonight is one of my favorite songs. So, gonna get her in here and just see what it's all about, what she's all about, and have some nice conversations. So, you guys on the After Dark with Shawn Cornelius family, please welcome Dawn Robinson.
Hey, hi
Hey,
guys. Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm blessed. Thank you so much. Same here. Same here.
Listen, see, that's
Thanks
what
for
I was.
having me.
I was looking forward to that. That's the smile I've seen you put on in a lot of your interviews. That's great.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're
Thanks for
so.
noticing.
All right, look, you're so welcome. I want to say that there's quite a few people that were looking forward to this when I told them it was going to happen, and
Yay. Oh,
yes,
man.
me myself being an artist, me myself being a music lover, an actor, and
Yes,
all those kind of things. I just love to sit down and talk with other actors and actresses and models and musicians and writers, and just to have that dialogue. Now, you
exactly.
being someone who is definitely that.
hmm
mm, you heard the intro, right? I said I would.
Yes, I did. I
So
sure did.
I'm going to purposely stumble, make it look at it, and I'm
Exactly. Oh,
better.
my
But
God.
Dawn, thank you so much. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. You know what? I'm just like anybody else. We're trying to figure this whole world out right now. I think there's some beautiful changes. I know I sound crazy because everybody else is like, "Oh, these uncertain times." How are you in these? I'm like, you guys,
Right,
we survive as people. We do what we have to do on this planet, and you either allow things to knock you down, or you let them build you up and figure out where to go from there. What I'm loving is all these incredible platforms that everybody's coming up with, all these podcasts. It's like, okay, we can't go to work and we can't go, we don't have a job, but we're going to figure out something on our own so we can be our own boss.
right.
And it's everyday people doing this. This is not the Oprah Winfrey's and the Ellen DeGeneres's and the, Jimmy Farrell's of the world. This is everyday people like you guys doing podcasts. I don't know if you've had yours before COVID or you started during COVID, but people are starting to figure out, okay, we're going to use the internet as real estate, because if
Right.
you don't have a business on the internet, you're kind of crazy today, because it's like there's all kinds of ways to, if you're a great cook, if you're a great baker, if you do skincare, home skincare, like coming up with stuff to take care of your skin at home. If you walk dogs and you just talk to people while you're walking your dog. I mean, there's a guy in New York City called Action Kid. He's an Asian guy,
Okay.
and he literally walks the city, and I mean the entire city of New York. He goes from the Empire State Building, he'll go to Staten Island, he walks to Queens, he walks to Brooklyn, he'll go to the Bronx, he goes everywhere in New York City. And as much as I grew up there and have been there many times with En Vogue over the years to perform, he shows parts of the city that we've never seen before, and people send him money from Scotland, from the
Wow.
Netherlands, from Africa, because they've never been to New York, and that, so he found his niche.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And it's not he goes out in the rain and the cold, and they send him little like $2 here, $1.50, or $10.
But this is the
People,
time to do that.
I keep telling people, I'm like, use this year. Don't sit at home and be pissed off because you can't go to work. You didn't like your job in the first place. You
Correct.
didn't like your job, so stop
Right.
complaining
So
that
now
you
you're
have to sit at
complaining.
home.
Yes.
Figure out what you can do on the internet for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm going to answer your question.
Mhm.
I did a few things on the internet, but not like to this level. You
Right.
know, I'm being an artist and a creative person. You have to figure it out,
Man,
and you figure it out, and you see someone else
exactly.
doing something, you can do it as well. So I just figured
Yes.
out, sat down, and here you are. This is crazy because here you are. You know
Right.
what I mean? And this,
Yeah, thank you.
yeah,
Well,
no,
this is the thing too, Sean. It's like I know that people we love hearing each other's stories.
hmm
Right now, everybody's trying to figure out how to survive through COVID.
hmm
We're sharing our stories with each other as humans.
yes,
Whether,
yes.
excuse me, I have
Oh,
to
take
get
your time.
water.
Go ahead and get yourself a sip. Go ahead and get
I
yourself
gotta
a
get
sip.
water. I'll be right back.
No problem. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning. We're gonna let Dawn get some water because we want to make sure she's comfortable and right. So, welcome to tonight's special edition show from producer Smoke. You guys know exactly what to do. You're in here and you're doing your thing. So please share it now. And Derek, when she comes back, I'll ask these questions. If you guys have a question for Dawn, we'll make sure we'll get them out there and see what the conversation is. But we want to make sure that she's all ready and good to go. And it's just going to be awesome because she has a
Yay!
lot of wisdom. There she is. I don't want to talk about where you're going, but I did say nice things.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah,
So,
I
so
got
it's really
doctorate.
cool. It's really cool again that you're here, and because again, I have people who have followed your career from En Vogue to the Lucy Pearls to some of
Yeah.
the other things you did. And we want to talk about some of that stuff. So, when did you
Okay.
know, Dawn, that you had that vocal, that did you always know that you could sing or wanted to be a singer?
Yeah, at a very young age, my parents noticed that I had talent. My mom pretty much cultivated my talent more than my dad. My dad and my mom separated when I was 5. So he was out of the house when I got older. So my
hmm
mom would bring home, any female artist that she saw had a new album out, even if she didn't know who the artist was.
Okay.
I remember her bringing Brenda Russell's album home. Um, I could see her in my mind. Mickey Howard.
Okay.
Uh, so a lot of female artists, she would just bring me anybody, even if she didn't know who they were.
Mm.
Because in New London, we didn't have a station that played a lot of black music, a lot of R&B. We only had
So
we had an AM station that played music, but it was mostly pop.
you were London,
You know.
Connecticut.
Yeah, yeah. I was
Oh,
raised in Connecticut.
okay, so you're from up this way.
Yeah, well, where are you guys at?
Well, I'm in the Bronx. I'm in the
Oh,
Bronx.
see, so Co-op City. Where I was in Co-op City most of
Well,
my
look at you calling Co-op City. I'm 10 minutes away from Co-op.
yes, most of my Christmases, and that was my dad and my grandmother. Yeah, she had a co-op.
Sweet, sweet.
She was in Einstein Loop. Yeah, so
Okay, all right.
so I was in between New York and Connecticut most times. But yeah, my mom would bring home every female artist that she could find. Tina Marie, I remember the first time she brought her first album home.
Okay.
Uh, so I just grew up Patrice Rushen, you know what I mean? All
Mm,
these different people. But
yes.
I also listened to a lot of pop and a lot of rock because of my dad. So they just had music in the house all the time. And as a singer, I just picked up on harmonies, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, all those harmonies that they would have,
Okay.
even though they were guys. I
Right.
still heard those harmonies. And my parents were like, she has talent.
Mm.
So Stephanie Mills, anybody that I could sing along with, that was my upbringing.
Okay.
Vocally.
Were you writing? Were you writing early too, as well as your
I
singing?
wish. No, I didn't
No.
do that. And my mom has probably told me in the last 2 months, she said over and over again, I wish I cultivated that more with you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, go in your room and write some poetry or start
Right.
putting lyrics together. Or even with, she said, I wish I would have had you and your sister and me and my sister in piano lessons. Because I would go with my friends to their piano lessons and I would sit there with them.
Okay.
But I never ever said, Mom, I want to take piano lessons. And I was a singer, so I don't even understand like that. To me, that goes hand in hand.
Right.
Toni Braxton learned to play piano as a singer. It was just something natural for her.
Right.
So yeah, we didn't do that, but I wish
Okay.
that I could cultivated that more with myself.
What about the whole dancing thing? Were you a natural dancer?
Not really. I mean, as kids, we would do the bump. You know, you do all the dances at a little get on the good foot, da, 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 da. You
Righty,
know what I mean? We have those
man.
dances exactly in the house, but as far as dancing the way that we did with En Vogue, no. I'm so proud that we learned.
Yes.
Cindy was the only one, actually. Cindy took tap dancing, and she was really an avid tap dancer. She was amazing. The girls, like I always told her, you need to go on Dancing with the Stars. She's that good.
Okay. Okay. So you,
The rest of us didn't have those skills, but we learned enough to do the steps in our videos.
yes,
You know?
yes, and obviously we're gonna get to that and more that whatever
Yeah.
you want to discuss. But being a part of one of the biggest groups ever,
Yay!
one of the biggest groups ever, and you get all the guys loved you, all the girls wanted to be like you. You guys, your
Yay!
harmony, oh my God, were awesome.
Thank
Hold
you.
On came out and it was just boom bam. Did you ever see that for you? Because you know, sometimes when you're young, you go, "I'm going to be a star. I'm going to be this."
Exactly.
Did you see that for yourself?
I did, but I didn't see myself in a group.
Mm.
There was never a time when I said, I want to be like Sister Sledge or the Emotions or you know, the Pointer Sisters. It was never that. It was never ever that. I never said that a group was the direction that I wanted to go. So when I found that situation, I was like, wow, this is beautiful, because there's a camaraderie that you build as sisters, or even if you're in a group with guys. In my case with Lucy Pearl, we build a family. You know what I mean? It becomes that. So I love the camaraderie that we had with each other. I love learning from Cindy, the stuff that she did in the pageants when she was younger, that she taught us. But I never thought that, I was never like, oh my gosh, I want to be in a girl group.
Oh,
No, I never had that desire. It never hit
okay.
me.
So
Yeah.
so sometimes God's path is still totally different from our path.
Woo!
We
You
have our
said it.
plan, yes, but we know it is his plan is, you know, tell him to make him laugh, tell him your plan. Um,
Exactly.
I'm going to be kind of going a little bit back and forth with some of these folks because you're getting some comments up
Yay.
here. The Bears Den. I went to college. I went to Shaw University, and this is one of my classmates. And that's the song "Hold On" was played a lot in our Bears Den.
Hey, Daryl.
And,
Hey,
yeah,
okay,
and
cool.
then
That's
you
good.
have a compliment of and the cutest. So you know, here we
Oh,
go with those.
thanks,
But
you guys.
but
Thank
yes,
you,
no,
Daryl.
and Vogue, you guys, you cut out a niche, you carved a niche, and then the others followed. And
Yes.
did you know that you guys had something special before it became special? You know, like at what point? Well, I'll ask you at what point after that. Did you
That's
know
a
you
good
had something?
question. We didn't know at first. I could say that we knew that our harmonies were special. We knew that as we were singing in the studio, even at the audition, it was like day one. It was so beautifully, the mesh. We just kind of melded as one voice.
Mm,
That's all I can say. And
mm,
it was beautiful. It was like what you hear when you hear a family sing together, the Clark sisters, or the Emotions, or Sister Sledge. I mean, those harmonies are so intricate because they're sisters. So there's a tone in each of their voices that matches each other.
right, right.
With us, it was the same thing, but we weren't sisters. So we were like, what the heck is this? What? Yeah, that was beautiful.
I thought,
But we didn't know that when we were recording our album that we had something that was going to catch fire the way that it did. I
right, because
can't say
that
that I can't say that we knew and said, oh my God, this is going to be huge. We're going to be massive. Nope.
oh,
Didn't
that's
happen.
great because here's a question that was just thrown at me by Derek. He said, when you recorded Hold On, did you know it would be as successful as it
No,
is?
no, no, not at all. I think our producers probably knew because they were used to being in the business, and they knew the lay of the land, as they say, as far as what works in the industry and what works demographically, radio wise. They knew certain things that we weren't aware of. But for us to say that we knew, and no, we had no clue. We were hoping that people would like us, and that, you know, it would catch fire, like I said, but we had no idea that we had lightning in a bottle.
That was awesome because it just came out like that. The bass line, the
Exactly.
drums, and your voices. How many girls auditioned for En
Weren't,
Vogue?
oh wow, that's a good question too. There weren't very many. I remember asking Denny how many women came to the audition as well, because the day that we were there, Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and myself, there was only one other girl that didn't make the group. Her name is Jordana. and she was Maxine's roommate, and she didn't tell Maxine about the audition or anything.
Oh,
Someone
oh,
else,
wow.
yeah, someone else hit Maxine to it. So it was kind of like I don't think she was hating on Maxine, but she sure didn't tell her, hey,
Come
come
on
with
down.
me to this audition, right? And she ended up she ended up not getting into the group, but I think there were only like 16 women altogether, if I remember correctly. Not the day that we were there, but just in general over the weeks prior to us coming to the audition, because by the time we got there, they picked us that following week. We were in. Yeah. So it wasn't like they had, in fact, it was like, I would say on a Saturday we did the audition, and by Tuesday or Wednesday they had us chosen.
Oh, wow.
That
That
next
quick.
week.
Right.
Yeah, that quick, right? So I don't think there were a lot of females that did that. I think it was like 16 women all together that auditioned. It wasn't a cattle call, as they say.
Right.
It wasn't
Right.
a bunch of women that came
I
to
think
the
it was
audition.
really, you guys were really put together well as far as your talent, your look, your style, because you guys were sexy, you were classy, you were
Thank you
positive,
so much,
very
Shawn.
positive. Free Your Mind, a lot of those songs that had these powerful messages in it.
Right,
The song
right.
that you did, What a Man with Salt and Pepper,
Uh-huh.
those songs were just really like, you ladies jumped out to the forefront, and it was like, okay, let's get it. You work with
Right.
a lot of very talented producers. Would you like to, some of the ones where we may not know that crafted some of your hits?
Yeah. Well, as far as the predominant songs, we had 5 hits. Believe it or not, it was only 5. And then when I say that, some of my friends are like, "Only 5 hits?" Most people don't have 1 hit, so you had only 5 hits. But
Right.
En Vogue had 5 hits: "Never Gonna Get It," "Free Your Mind," "Hold On," "Giving Up Something You Feel," and "Don't Let Go." And "Don't
Okay.
Let Go" was written by that was the only song that we did with other producers outside of Denny and Tommy, Denzel Foster, Thomas McGilroy.
That was a hot
So
track.
it was
That was
beautiful,
yeah.
and we would have missed out on it had we listened to Terry, because she would always, if it wasn't Denny and Tommy giving us a song, she would always hate on it, and we were like, "Terry, this is a hit. Like, we're gonna do the song with or without you." Yeah, because
It
it was
was that way.
undeniable. It was
You know what's so
undeniable.
funny? Like, and this is with every group basically, because and I like to be, like I said earlier, I've done some things and not done them on the level you have, but coming up through college, I had a group. You
Yeah,
look down times with groups, and everybody has their personality. So groups are one
right.
of the hardest things to kind of keep together because
Exactly.
everybody's different, and at some point, everybody wants to put their opinion and thing out as
Right.
well. I mean, we go all the way back with the Temptations, New Edition, the Jacksons, or the whole thing, Supremes.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard as a group. Now, what was your, and everybody had their specialty, I'm sure. What was your special? Was it writing? Was it business? Was it choreography? I know you already said the choreography was
Right.
somebody else's. What was your specialty that you contributed to the group?
I would say speaking up, standing up for what was right, and doing that whole thing. I'm very feisty, and it was hard for me to be in a group. My best friend tells me best all the time. She's like, "Dawn, I've known you since we were 14 years old. When we were 14 years old, you were just as feisty, as you are now." Oh, my
Mhm.
hair. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You use me as a mirror,
I'm
Dawn.
trying
That's
to
fine.
fix
That's
it
cool.
as I go along, and I have this thing around it and
Yeah.
ponytail in the back, and it's just not. It's doing its own
Listen,
thing.
we're in chill mode. It's fine.
Yeah, but the fans see it.
Nobody,
So
listen, nobody said anything about your hair yet. You've been getting all. Let me show you
they
exactly what
don't say
they
that
may
kind
not
of stuff.
say
They
it.
would never tell me, Dawn, you look a mess. I mean, come on. But thank you so much, Shawn.
No problem.
So I've always been a stand-up kind of girl. I don't tolerate bull. I don't tolerate people stepping on me. I just don't do that well. And so yeah, I think that they will never say that Dawn sat there and just took abuse from anybody. I
Right.
never, yeah, I don't do that well. I speak up, I stand up. I'm very vocal, and I don't like confrontation, but I'm very vocal when it comes to, I don't like how you're treating me. I don't like how you're talking to me. This is the fact that we were making 2 pennies, all that stuff. I was always speaking up for,
Yes.
um, and trying to get the other girls to stand up with me, because I can't. No man is an island.
Right. Right.
Oh, I see the
Yeah, I'm putting
comments.
those
Yeah,
comments up
Shawn,
for you,
thank
Dawn. Yes,
you.
yes.
Yeah.
You look beautiful, Dawn. You're beautiful. It's all those kind of wonderful things. Now, Dawn, you just
Thanks,
said
you guys.
you slipped past something. You said it kind of quickly, but I want to go back to it. What you
Yeah.
said about the pennies, because in the business, obviously, we know how record companies do artists. It's been documented. It's been on all of from years, way before
Yes.
we were around and doing things.
Right.
So you guys ran into things on that level as well with record companies and things on that level.
Yeah. I mean, you say artist, but I'm going to narrow it down and say Black artist, because you only
Mm,
hear these stories with us. You don't hear this with the Garth Brooks of the world,
right.
or the Dixie Chicks, or Katy Perry, or excuse me, Madonna.
Hmm.
You don't hear those financial woes like you hear, Metallica. Even if I go just all the groups.
Right.
Now
Right.
I know that Motley Crue had a problem with our label because they were signed to Sylvia Rhone just like us.
Mm,
But I don't think it was financial with them. I think it was more creative control. I think they were fighting over creative control with Sylvia Rhone.
mm,
But with us, it was like, okay, what is this 2 cents a record? Like, excuse me, but really? Um, there's a problem if people look at that and say, meaning people, the powers that be, the record company, our producers, our managers, our agents, all the people that were above us and kind of handling our situation, for them to look at that and say that that was okay.
right.
Really? I mean, so I was the one who stood up and I started the process of having conversations with Maxine, because I was like, there's something wrong here. There's something very wrong with our contracts, and there's something wrong with the people around us that are okay with us making 2 pennies a record.
Mm,
And she and I were the only two that would, get into a powwow conversation. And then I would say, okay, tomorrow we got to get on the phone with Cindy and Terry to kind of get them on the same page with us so we can fight for more. And she's like, okay, okay. And then the next day I call her and she's like, well, I talked to Denny last night. And I'm like, no, you can't
right.
do that, Maxine,
Right.
please.
So, Dawn, it was actually 2 cents a record,
2 pennies each, girl.
two
Yeah,
pennies each person in En
two
Vogue.
pennies. 2 pennies for Cindy, 2 pennies for Maxine, 2 pennies for Dawn, 2 pennies for Terry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. And we've seen that all through time with New
with
Edition and
Black
all those
artists. Yeah.
black artists who it's amazing. And you talk to Sylvia Rhone, and again, I have to throw in something that's compared. Back in 92, 93, I had a group as well. And that was one of
Uh-huh.
the people that our manager was talking to. But it's essentially that Atlantic Records at that point, back in
Okay.
the
Yeah.
90s. It was,
Yes,
it
that's where
feels,
we signed with her. We signed
yeah,
with her at
situation
Atlantic.
didn't go through because it was some kind of contract that was not good and all these things. So they still, and I wonder still to this day, obviously, because artists just want to get on.
Right.
They just want to get on. They want to be, or they see that famous, and it's, sometimes it's not like about their craft. It's about making it. Some of them you can't fault because of where they come from or what their situations are, and hopefully they're a little bit smarter today. But it's terrible. It's really terrible.
It's really, the game is set up for us to fail. I hate to say that, but they have an agenda, and I don't know why. Because to me, and I told this to Sylvia Rhone on the phone one time. I guess she thought that I was going to back down because she was calling me at my house, and she's Sylvia Rhone. Do you know who I am? I'm Sylvia Rhone. I was like, yes, I do.
Oh wow.
I am
Yeah.
well aware of who you are, but I'm also aware that I had talent before I met you. I had a voice before I met you. I have a mind to think with. And as long as God gives me that and provides that for me, I will use that to speak. I will use that to sing. In other words, I don't fear you.
Right. Right.
And all I'm doing is speaking up at the fact that we are probably, by that time when we had that conversation, we had sold 20 million records at that time. And I was just like, why aren't we making any money? Like, this is just insane. By the time I left the group in 97, which was probably 2 years after that conversation, we had sold 28 million records. So, 30, to round it off, 30 million records worldwide.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
It's a travesty that it's okay, but it's just a travesty that Black artists are not taken care of. And I told her, I said, you're like a mother figure to us. You need to make sure that we're okay. And you're calling me at my house. Aren't you busy? Like, don't you have other things to do? Are you so concerned that I'm talking about Sylvia Rhone? Because we had a photo shoot for Don't Let Go. And in the photo shoot, it got back that I was talking about Sylvia Rhone. And everybody in that room was talking. I said it to her. I'm like, Sylvia, newsflash.
Yeah.
Everybody in that room was talking about you. Cindy, Terry, Maxine, Dawn, our choreographer, the photographer, the rep from the record company, I forgot her name, Liz or something like that. She was talking about you too.
But it just came down on Dawn because she was
That
the
it
most
came
vocal.
back exactly that I was the one.
You were the
Like, are you
bag.
kidding me right now? Like, really? And I said, and while we're sitting on the phone right now, as we speak, and we're on the phone, somebody in the room in the world is talking about you right now, Sylvia. Like, you can't stop every conversation from happening.
Right.
They talk about me too. Am I concerned about that? I mean, you're Sylvia Roan. Like, you are Sylvia Roan. We're in Vogue. You're Sylvia Roan. Like, come on, get over yourself.
You know what it sounds like, Dawn? It sounds like I just watched this last night, and a young lady just popped this in because I was going to bring it up, and she popped it in. Ma Rainey, way back then. It's like a modern day Ma Rainey when she knew her worth.
She sure did.
She knew that the record companies just wanted her voice. They didn't want her as a black artist, a black woman. They just wanted her to make those records, go ahead and leave the studio. They'll make their money, and that's all they wanted her for. So that's one of the reasons why she was the way that she was. And vocal, sounds like you, vocal, strong.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna wait till I'm ready before we do this. You're not gonna force me or rush me. I know what my worth is, and that's you got to stand up, for yourself. That's great.
Unfortunately, I was the only one standing up, and you can't stand by yourself. You have to.
Not as a group,
especially in my case because I had a contract with 4 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
You have an issue with that hair, man.
Oh my God, it's all
this is going to turn into a beautician session. It's okay. It's all good. If I take my hat off, we'll both be like, ah. I got this pandemic afro under here, so don't worry. I'm just trying to be stylish with the hat and be cute on a little bit on the level.
Exactly. I've been trying to get a new hairstylist to come in and do my hair, and it's like
somebody.
I'll go to them. At this point, I need help. I need a stylist in Las Vegas. If anybody's out there that does black hair, please, I'll come to you.
Koya says she loved you on R&B was LA. You didn't play no games.
No, I didn't, Koya. Oh my gosh.
So the acting thing, I just had a producer on the show not too long ago who produced reality shows, and we know reality shows are scripted, but how much of it is when you do your stuff like that? We're like, okay, I'm going to really put me into this, and we know what the scripts say.
I don't understand why they call it reality show.
Exactly.
I don't get that because I went on giving my reality. Sorry, I'm using your camera as my
again. Yes, you are. That's why I'm giving you the close up, and I'm getting out the way.
Thank you. Come on, it's real though. I don't know why they call it reality TV. They need to call it relatable TV. They need to call it something else because it's not reality. Yes. I gave my reality. I told the fans stuff that they had no idea about. A lot of fans didn't know that I was married. They had no idea. A lot of fans didn't know that there was infidelity in my marriage. A lot of fans didn't know that I had problems with infertility and not having children. So I gave my real and I gave my truth. And I told production about a month after they were filming, it was probably about 36 hours of footage that they got with us. And after about a month, they came in and they said, well, TV One is upset because you ladies are not, you're being too nice to each other. And so we had a meeting with production, and I said, well, basically what you guys want is for us to like slap each other in the face, go to blows with each other.
Ratchet.
You guys want us to be ratchet. Exactly. And I said, but I told you guys before I signed it on to do the show that I was not about that. I didn't grow up like that. I'm not about to start at whatever age I was when I did the reality show. I'm not about to start that stuff. I didn't do that in my group.
Right.
We would have words with each other. We would have differences. Even with my sister growing up, we would disagree. We would fight and argue like that, but not to the point where we go to blows with each other. And I'm not about to start that with this reality show. And the producer said, well, Dawn, you have to figure out if you want to be a part of the show or not. And I said, but you guys knew before I even signed on with you guys to do this, and I signed on the dotted line to do the show, you knew that I wasn't down for no buffoonery.
Right.
I'm on the show because I want to speak my piece. I'm on the show because I want to support other women on the show that happen to be black. Excuse me. And I'm on the show because I want to show the fans that I'm still here, and kind of promote whatever it is that I'm doing. And you guys want us to fight with each other. And the producer said, well, at this point, Dawn, and he pointed at me, Shawn, and he was like, you have to figure out if you want to be on the show and if you want to stay and be a part of this reality show. I said, well, I told you guys in the beginning what I wanted. He said, well, you had to know what kind of show we were going to do. You had, didn't you watch Atlanta Divas? I was like, no, I don't. You see, you're assuming that because I'm a Black woman that I watch shows like that.
Right. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
don't.
Right.
I said I watched once you guys told me that I was going to do the show, and you guys wanted me on the show. That I looked at the first episode for Atlanta Divas, but once I saw that it was buffoonery, I did not watch it anymore.
Right. Right.
So, and you guys told me that you wanted something different. So, yeah, it is scripted, but again, if you're calling it reality show, people believe that that stuff is real. That
Exactly.
Nene lives in this mansion, or Shanae lives, it's like they believe all this stuff because that's the way that they script the show. And to the outside world, it's believable. To me, it was believable before I did the reality show.
Right.
So
Right.
once I saw that it was not real, I'm like, oh, you guys are like some, I don't know what. I don't understand why they want to lie to I guess it's like a soap opera. But we know that soap operas were fake.
Right.
General Hospital was not real. We knew that.
We know wrestling is fake, but people still want to believe that it's real. I was speaking to the producer of a reality show on the show, and we know it's fake, but it's just something that grabs the attention of America, the people, or whatever it is, to kind of either leave their lives and to go into somebody else's life for a minute and look at your life.
Well, this is the thing, Shawn, but I don't think little kids think that that wrestling is fake. They don't know any better.
They don't know, right? No, they don't know. I didn't know when I used to watch it.
Thank you. Exactly. Right. I took my little brother to see Hulk Hogan when he was in Oakland, California, and I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, these guys are like killing each other."
Yep.
But they know how to do it. So we learned that over time that it wasn't real. You know, of course, they're not going to beat themselves up like that, but sometimes they actually do bleed.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So for a little, 7-year-old boy, he was like, "Wow, they're like bleeding." We don't know that it's fake. And reality shows, my mom thought that a lot of it was real as well. And I had to tell her, Mom, it's not.
It's entertaining. You're still working it. I like the way you multitask. Because you are not losing one word. You are flowing with the conversation, and you are twisting and crying and putting the bows and smiling.
I had plans for this damn scarf today. I was like, I am gonna get this. I'm getting this right while we're doing this interview.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So look, while you do that, right, and it's not gonna be a long one. I'm gonna take like a quick break, like. We're gonna count down for TV purposes and come right back. You can actually do that while I count down from 5 to 1 and see what you can, and then we'll get into the second, because I want to know about your Lucy Pearl stuff. I'd like to know about where you're going with your acting stuff. Yes, and then we're gonna have some fun with the second half with some love and romance, funny stuff, and whatever you like. All right. So we'll be right back with more Dawn Robinson on After Dark with Shawn Cornelius. Stay right there. All right, guys, we're back, and the bow and everything is in place. She's looking as pretty as ever. Here's another comment for you. Stop fussing, Dawn. You look fine.
I promise. I'm so sorry, y'all.
I love you, though. Yes, you got all these wonderful. Love you, Dawn. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on for you.
Thanks, Shawn. I appreciate the other Shawn and someone Shawn just came on camera. Thank you so much, y'all.
Yes. No. So listen. Usually in the second half of the show, I jump right into some fun and get my guests' opinions on love, romance, relationships. Because I got to do a shameless plug. I wrote a book called Expressions of Love and Romance.
Nice, very nice. So, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. But I want to, since we do have a little bit of extra time, which you told me how much time you had, let's get into it, because I'm really, I love Tony.
Yes,
so when you connected with Raphael Sadiq on Lucy Pearl, I want to talk a little bit about that, because that music was so black soul, satin, and smooth, and Dance Tonight. And you got, how did that collaboration come together?
Was fire. Okay.
It was
fire. It was so fire. And thank you so much, Shawn. I was being managed by a woman named Cassandra Mills, and Cassandra Mills was one of, there's very few Black women in the music industry that have a title you know, where they run things. And she
Mm-hmm.
was the head of Giant Records at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time she was managing me, by the time she reached out to me to manage me, excuse me, she was done with Giant Records. Giant Records had folded, been liquidated. There was no more Giant Records, but she had created Jade after En Vogue.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, and they were on Giant Records. So she approached me about managing me, and I forgot how she found me. There was no social media back then. And excuse me. So she said, so we agreed to the management artist situation,
Okay.
but her and I right away started butting heads
Here we go.
because well, you're talking about someone who is, if you can run a record company,
Mm-hmm.
you're a businesswoman. And so she was running a record well, she had prior to me been running a record company, and she tried to run me the same way.
Uh-oh.
Woo! It ain't gonna work.
Oh,
It ain't gonna
baby. Here
work.
we go.
Oh no. It's like no. So her and I butt heads a lot, and we were on our way to, for instance, we were on our way to a meeting at Virgin Records because she had a couple of deals on the table for me.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was Virgin Records, and another was RCA in New York. And we were waiting. We had already booked our tickets to go to New York and meet with Bob Jameson at RCA. In the meantime, we had a deal. I had a meeting with Virgin. When I got to her condo in Beverly Hills, she looked me up and down, and I swear to you, just like this. And she was like, I don't like, I don't like your hair. I don't like what I'm looking at.
Wow.
My weave was fresh. I don't wear a weave right now. This is my own hair, but my weave was fresh, Shawn. I was looking good. Okay.
All right.
We didn't name ourselves after Vogue magazine for a reason. So I'm looking at her like, you don't know nothing about fashion. You looking at me like this. I'm looking at you the same way. But she's like, she picked up the phone right in front of me, and she said, they answered the phone. She said, yes, I'd like to speak with the secretary for whoever we were meeting with at Virgin.
Okay.
We're going to postpone this meeting until next week.
Wow.
Right in front of me, right in my face, as if I wasn't standing right there. Yeah. So she treated me like I was her daughter, as opposed to a grown woman who knew what I looked like and wanted to look like. Yeah, she was very disrespectful in that sense.
But also, wait, she's seen you before? She had seen you through
but I had gotten a different weave, and it was curly, and she didn't like it. She wanted it straight. I'm like, you don't run me. I'm here to sing, and you're here to manage that part of my life, not how I look and how I'm dressed. I like my hair. The weave was about this big, but still, that was my business, you know?
Right.
And I knew that I looked cute. I liked how I looked that day. I was confident enough to leave the house that way. So
Sure.
So she canceled that meeting. When I came back the next week, she was like, well, that's not much better, but it's okay. We're not going to postpone again. Oh, yeah, she was. So
Ooh.
Fast forward to a few months down the road, we had gone to New York, met with Bob Jameson at RCA, and then Raphael Sadiq had contacted her to talk to her about this group idea that he had called Lucy Pearl.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she told him no. I have deals on the table for Dawn where we just met with Bob Jameson at RCA in New York. We met with Virgin Records, and a few other labels are interested in her for a solo. And he was like, okay, fine. And he was like, but it's only a one-off. It's only 1 year, one deal, one album.
Yeah.
And she said no. And then that was it. So he contacted me. I forgot how, because there's no way that there was no social media back then. So I still don't remember to this day how he contacted me. Right. But he found me, and we had a conversation. He's like, yeah. So she had told me that, she said, Raphael Sadiq contacted me the other day, and I told him no. And I was like, you told him what? You told him no before you actually told me that the actual deal, the offer was there. Like she didn't run it by me that this is what's going on, but I'm going to tell Raphael no. Sure. She just told him no before she told me anything even existed.
Wow.
She didn't even tell me the idea that he had on the table. And I was like, well, this is where you and I have to part ways, because I've seen too much of this shit with you making decisions for me.
Right.
I'm a grown woman. I'm not a new artist coming into the business who needs to be led by anybody. I'm a grown woman, and I know what I want. And even if it wasn't a good deal, or Raphael, whatever he's offering is not a good deal, let me make that decision on my own. Let me make that choice for myself. So I fired her, and then Raphael found me, or I found him, and we talked about this idea he had, and I was like, oh my God, yes. So I still had a deal on the table with Bob Jameson, RCA, because the deal with Virgin didn't work out. I didn't like what they had to offer. But I liked Bob Jameson's deal at RCA. So I called him and I said, look, I'm giving you heads up that there's a deal on the table. Raphael Sadiq, Tony, Ali, Shaheed Muhammad, Tribe Called Quest, En Vogue, Dawn Robinson coming together and making this super group. And he was like, no, I don't think you should do it. And I said, sir, I have to disagree with you. And I told him why. I thought it was smart because Raphael, I've known him since I was 16. He's known me since I was 16, and we were in the group band together. He was in my band in San Francisco. We played together. I trust him. Leaving a group and going out on your own, especially after you're successful, is very scary. And I got to be out there on my own. And I just think it'd be smart for me to do this with him. And he was like, well, I don't agree. And I said, well, I'm going to have to decline your offer. Yeah, so I did. I declined his offer. And I'm glad I did, because Lucy Pearl, oh my God, like
listen. Again, this goes back to my thought process of a divine intervention and God and spirituality. You know what I mean? What's for you is going to be for you. What's not for you, or you think is for you on some kind of level, you know what I mean? And then you end up seeing what God has for you. So obviously he was taking you through that process.
Yes.
To get you to the Lucy Pearl situation and things that have happened in your life. And that was an awesome collaboration.
It was so amazing, Shawn. Thank you so much.
Oh, no, listen.
There are things that I love En Vogue, but it's just Lucy Pearl is my heart. Like there's a certain, it's my heartbeat. That was like such a beautiful project, and coming together with all these different people. And it was also, I had two producers that I was working with before Raphael contacted me for Lucy Pearl. He didn't even have a name for the group. He just said it was a group. And there were these two guys that I was working with. They called themselves, their production company name was Jake and the Fat Man.
Okay.
There was a TV show on back in the 70s. Yeah, Jake and the Fat Man. And there were one white guy and one black guy. I'm sorry, one Latino guy, Mexican actually.
Okay.
Bobby and Glenn are their real names, and they were working with me on some other stuff prior to Lucy Pearl. So when Raphael heard what we were working on, he's like, okay, can we get these guys to come in and be a part of the project? And I was like, heck yeah, like in a heartbeat. So they came in, and I gotta say, they probably contributed more to Lucy Pearl than Raphael as a musician. Ali is not a musician, and he's not really he's only a DJ.
DJ, yes.
Because I was like, okay, so did you do Bonita Applebaum? And he was like, nah, that wasn't me. I said, check the rhyme. Because that's my check the rhyme, y'all. Check the rhyme, y'all. Check it out. Check it out. Back on the boulevard. That's mine. And he was like, he was like, no, I didn't do that. I said, okay, left my wallet in El Segundo.
You were you tried.
I was saving all the hits, exactly. And he's like, nah, that wasn't me either. So I think Ali was mostly, I know he contributed musically, but I think he was more of a DJ for them than anything, so, but it was so cool to just be down with him and have him part of, so he wanted to be more of a musician. And when we would do live shows, he started playing congas. I was proud of him because he was learning an instrument in front of the world.
Right.
And really figuring things out for himself. Yeah, Raphael had this idea, and Bob Jameson again said no. And I said, well, sir, I have to decline your offer, because to me, it was a no-brainer. It was just a no-brainer. It was like a beautiful coming together of all these people in this project to make this beautiful music. And I didn't even know what it was going to be when I first was offered the project, but I just knew this is going to be real. It's going to be fire. It's going to be explosive. We're going to shock the world with this new project. And sure enough, it was that. It was that.
Did you use everything? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, did you use all of your skills in that project? You wrote?
Absolutely. There was a woman named Kanisha Monet, and we call her Monet for short. But Monet and I wrote all the stuff like Kiss and Your Mother, all the parts for the girl parts, all the parts for Remember the Time.
Okay.
Let's see. What other song did she help me write? Dance Tonight. She helped me. No. Raphael wrote Dance Tonight. Look what the cat dragged in. Look what the cat hauled in. Me and a couple friends. No need to settle down. My body don't know how. Right now I see you looking. Sure hope that you're tookin'. Raphael. Oh my
You know
God.
what's so funny? You know what's so funny? What's so cool when you're thinking about these things, how you're happy, you're smiling, and you get so, you know what I mean? And that's so cool. You have a wonderful
Thank
smile.
you.
You're just so giddy, and your energy is so cool. But you're thinking about this stuff, and you're just going off. That's beautiful.
Raphael was genius. Thank you
Yes.
so much. So, but he was genius, man.
Yes.
He's genius, and I miss him. I miss the camaraderie. I wish that things would have worked out. I love En Vogue. Don't get me wrong. That was how we got our start. I'm proud of us as women, as
Yes.
Black women. I just wish that Terry would have had the tenacity to say, you know what, I'm down with this man, this producer. He's our producer, and I'm in love with him, or whatever. We got this relationship, but I'm down for my girls more.
Right.
I'm down for Dawn and Maxine and Cindy. I'm down for them because that's where we started together. We are sisters, and I wish she would have held that. But Lucy Pearl, there's just something magical about what we did together, and that whole thing. It it was like there was no plan of what we were going to do. We just got in the studio, and everything kind of fell in place, and it just started working. Everything clicked every day. There was no plan. It was no rhyme or reason to it.
John,
It
how
was
could
just
you go wrong?
combobulated.
How could you go wrong with that lineup? You guys, the talent of
Exactly.
Raphael, yourself, try that. Listen again. So because I'm listening, when I listened to Dance Tonight the other day, I said, all right, let me go back and listen. And I just closed my eyes, and it is that black silky. So it's like you have that black velvet poster on your wall, and you got the red light or the blue light. And the music, it's like 70s, 80s. It's so smooth,
Exactly.
and it attributes to who each and every one of you are. You know,
Exactly. Thank you so much, Shawn.
feel the individual, but as a group, collectively, it's just awesome music. It's just
Yeah.
sweet. So that's
Yeah.
beautiful. So thank you for that. Thank you for the.
It was that beautiful while we were in the studio. It was always that way every day. It was like even every day. That's my favorite song on the record. Every day came together. If you hear the beginning of Every Day, you can hear me saying something in the background. I was in the studio. Ali was sitting on the piano, and he was actually trying to learn how to play Every Day as they were we weren't recording. I think Glenn and Bobby were adding some scratches because Bobby Ozuna is the Mexican one. So Jake and the Fat Man. And
Okay.
Bobby Ozuna is the Mexican one, and he is a DJ.
All right.
So he was trying to scratch over the track. I think that's what he was doing right then. And Ali and Glenn is the white guy, and he was recording.
Mm.
So you can hear me in the background say, Ali is playing a piano. Or I'm sorry, Ali is playing the keys. Yeah, and they recorded me saying that, and you can hear Ali trying to play the piano part.
Wow.
And then you can hear him mess up, because he was trying to get the part right. Bum, bum, bum. And the track comes in. Yes, I'm coming over now. It was like that, and I was like, "This is explosive, you guys. It's explosive."
Oh, that's
And then
awesome.
Raphael and I together on the track singing. Usually, when you sing with a guy, I should say, when I sing with a guy, the key is too low for me. Sorry, the key is too low for him.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. The key is too high for a man to sing, and it's too low for me as a girl. That's what it is. I got it all mixed up.
Okay.
So the fact that we sound good together, it's just magic. I got goosebumps right here, just like, and this has been years later.
I see it. I can see it. I see how happy and excited you are about
I'm
it.
pissed off because Raphael just did not have my back. That part of it, like, come on, dude, I love you so much, and I lost my house during that project, so it's a little bit difficult for me to forgive and just move on and act like it didn't happen, and just that's my house.
Right.
I didn't leave a book in his car or a jacket that I left and he can't find it. No, this is my house. my
Cool.
equity, the down payment that I put on my house. So
I see, Sean,
I was set.
you're talking a lot of really wonderful things. I'm glad that you're comfortable enough to have these memories and laugh and
Thank
have
you.
fun with it. So let's because the things you're talking about are also very important and
Right.
educational. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you.
So
Thank you, Shawn.
there are people who'd like to know certain things, and I was going to ask you this anyway. Go ahead,
Yeah.
take your sip your water. I'm going to throw
Okay.
one of the questions up because we even talked about this a little bit before the show. Uh, on advice. What advice would you
Mm.
give to young girls groups getting into business, given how overly sexualized the business has become? En Vogue always kept it classy and talented. That's from Denise.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Denise. How are you? I am the only one in Vogue that would show a lot of TNA. I would. I would show just a little bit of it, just a tiny bit. I was a TNA girl, if anything, because I'm comfortable in my body too, and I don't see any reason that I shouldn't show it. I'm not overtly showing it, but I'm very comfortable with myself. So there's a little bit of sex appeal in there, and I was okay with that. The thing is that you have to put your foot down when it comes to them wanting to. They never approached us with being overtly sexual. They never said, you ladies are going to do a movie, and in the scene, you're going to be in bed with a guy, or one of you is going to be in bed with each other, or nothing like that. Nobody ever pushed us in that direction. It was always just us saying, no, I'm not going to wear that. Or even with the lyrics for Don't Go, not Don't Let Go, but Don't Go, on our first album, Denzel Foster wanted me to sing it.
Okay.
And I was like, I feel the time is right, 'cause my love for you has grown up till this very night. Let me see. The second verse, lay me down upon my bed. Lay me down upon my bed and make me feel the heat.
It's very seductive. Yeah,
Ah!
very
Yes.
seductive
I was
lyric.
like, I can't sing that, because I was just coming out of the church too when we got into En Vogue.
Mhm.
I was like, I don't want my mom and dad to hear me saying, lay me down upon my bed and make me feel the heat of your body next to mine.
Right, right. Well, even even speaking that is sexy. See, this astounding.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, thank you very much, Dawn.
I
I
couldn't
appreciate
do it. I couldn't do it, Shawn. I couldn't. I was so embarrassed. So Denny was like, okay, next, Terry, come sing the song. And she did
it.
it. She sounds
Yeah,
great too. But I couldn't do it. So there was a little bit of like, we all had a certain respect for ourselves, and we just had that class. And I'm so grateful. I always say, my parents could be Cindy's parents. Terry's parents could be Maxine's parents. Maxine's parents could be Cindy's. You know what I mean? We all had a certain amount of integrity,
right,
except
right.
when it came to the business. And that's when I saw that we were different, where Terry decides that she wants to be down with her man as opposed to with our group. That's when I lost respect for her. Yeah.
Mm.
But other than that, as far
Yeah,
as integrity, we were always making sure that we were, yeah, like you said, classy.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's not just your group. It's not your former group. It's every group. Because you always
Right.
got that one person who's about the business, and the one person that's not, and the one person that's extra talented, and the one person that's not.
Right.
Everybody has the one person that wants to party all the time, and the one person that
Exactly.
doesn't. And in
Yeah.
my group coming out of college, we had a brother. His name was Poppy, and I'm glad Poppy was the way he was. This was when we were in, trying to get a record deal. Remember "Freak Me" by Silk?
Yes.
That was one of the
Yes.
songs that I put in our show list.
In your
He wouldn't
show.
sing it
Wow.
because he was that spiritual. He couldn't
Wow.
sing it. He would hum, and as the rest of
Exactly.
us would sing it because that's just not his style. Then we had
Right.
another guy who's about the business who thought. So groups are always going to have that dynamic,
Well,
and hope.
it's also too, when you say groups, you're saying, you might as well say families, because in every family you got that one brother that just doesn't want to do certain things. You got a one sister who's like,
Exactly.
she may show a little bit too much TNA. You got one brother that's really loyal to his women, and another brother who wants to just like be out there on his girl all the time. So, or one brother or sister that does drugs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's that one
Yep.
in every family that's
Yep.
just like out there doing crazy stuff, even though we were all raised by the same people.
Right.
So it's unfortunate, but I just wondered today if Terry regrets not having our back, because when she didn't have our back, she also didn't have her own back.
Sure.
Yeah. So if the business isn't right for the three of us, it's not right for her either. In other words, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, It's
like,
important to stick together. That's where the communication cannot break down. When it comes to business, I don't care what you do with who. That business has to be right. Otherwise, your relationship, when that's over, you have nothing to look back on.
yeah, and
The
that's good advice.
relationship with him, once that it was over with him, then it's like, okay, are you proud of what you did? Because, you know, now the whole thing fell apart. Was it worth it? You know?
Yeah, that's good advice for Denise's question, because you
Oh, I'm
definitely.
sorry. Did I say it right?
No, it's fine. But she wanted to know also, like, what do you tell these young ladies? Because we know what the industry is about, especially
Yes.
the rap. Not trying to point them out, but it's real. You know,
Yes.
with the WAP videos and all these other videos, and some of these young ladies seeing this thinking that I have to be overly sexualized to make it,
Exactly.
and it's
But see,
not.
okay, so thank you for that. Thank you, Shawn. You brought me back around. I pray over the industry all the time because I know that there's an agenda. The Illuminati or the powers that so-called be are out there to make sure that we destroy ourselves with music.
Mm-hmm.
So rappers have a responsibility, and I hate that because I know they feel like, well, I'm not trying to be a role model. And I wasn't either. But we can't help but be that because these young Black girls or young women in general look at us and say, wow, I want to be like Dawn or Maxine or like Cindy.
Exactly.
You know, and so we have a responsibility. And I know that there's dark forces in this industry. I know they exist.
Sure.
I know it for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And when we take that road, or we decide that we're gonna, you know, it's like they're out there, they offer you drugs. It's everywhere. It's prevalent in this industry. Anything that I want, if I wanted to get drugs like that, it would be at my front door and I wouldn't have to pay a dime for it. Or at a hotel. When we were back in the day and En Vogue was huge, we could be at a hotel. If you wanted it at your door, they would come to your hotel room and deliver it to you, or on your tour bus, or on stage, backstage. We've seen the stories. We've seen James Brown being offered drugs in the movie. You know, Ray Charles being offered drugs. All of that stuff is prevalent. It's out there.
It's real.
Those demons are out there. So if you want it or you're looking for it, it's definitely there. And none of us got caught up in that stuff. But what I will say is, the communication between you as a group is the most important part of it. If you think that you're having problems with something, go to your manager or go to each of your group members. If you're girls or guys or girls and guys, go to each other and talk about it. Don't put each other down for it. The communication between you guys is everything, because the record company, everybody else is the enemy. Here's the group, and you got the record company, you got your manager, you got your distribution company, you got all these other people around you.
Right.
And it's really about the core of the group, you guys talking to each other and saying, look, I'm having a problem. I'm addicted to something and I don't know what it is, or I'm addicted to this and I didn't know, or, you know, I'm always jealous. So when you get attention, it's kind of like it puts me down or it puts out the other members, because there's no, what was I watching the other night? And I said, wow, this is kind of how I think things, last night with my parents, I was watching Diana Ross, her background story on Reels.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, of course the other group members are going to be jealous, because Diana Ross was singing lead on everything. Stop in the Name of Love came out after, but baby, where did our love go? Exactly. And then I think she sang lead on that first, and then she said she sang lead on another baby song that they had. Baby love, my baby love, yeah. So she sang lead on, and that made her the lead singer. And if you look at all of the footage with them performing, it's the other two girls over here and then Diana over here, or these two girls here and then Diana in the middle. Of course, we're going to look at that and say, what the hell is going on? We all started together, and all of a sudden Diana's the centerpiece.
Right.
All of a sudden I'm singing background for Terry or Cindy or Maxine or Dawn. That's not cool. So that's where the communication, that's where I think Diana should have said to her girls and to the record company, make sure that Mary sings lead. Make sure that Florence has some songs to sing lead. Like, what is this about? And wait a minute, to add insult to injury, they came back and it was like Berry Gordy made it Diana Ross
at the Supremes.
Oh, yes. What?
See, Dawn, that's one thing that I respected Joe Jackson for during watching the history of the Jackson Five. He always tried to make it like all of the brothers were equal, even though we knew Michael had a little bit different talent.
Sure. Yeah.
He always wanted to be the Jackson Five, not Michael Jackson in the Jackson Five.
That's right. That's right.
And that's when they got to Motown and Diana Ross introduced him as Michael Jackson and Jackson Five. He flew off the handle because that separated them. Yeah.
Wow.
In the
Oh my
Jackson
gosh,
story,
I never knew that.
yeah, if you watch the Jackson story, family, the Jacksons movie they made, when
Exactly.
she brought them out there in Hollywood to the Hollywood Palace on her show,
I have watched that before. I've watched him anytime it comes on TV.
Michael Jackson in the Jackson Five.
Wow.
And he got really upset because that automatically puts that dissension and pulls it out. So listen, and that's great advice too. So thank you. Listen,
I would say advice. I'm sorry, just advice-wise, I would say communication is the biggest thing. You have to keep that between you guys as a group. Don't let anybody come in your ear, or you're the lead singer, or you're the one that I want the most, or you're the one that's the prettiest, or you're the most handsome, or you're the one who has the most talent. No. We started as a group, and until that group ends, or until one of us says, okay, I've gone as far as I can go with the group and I want to go out, because Michael had to be on his own. Michael had to go off on his own at a certain point. He had to leave his brothers behind and go find his own way.
Right.
He was too talented to stay within the group. He was locked down. So there's things even within your family. When you're kids and you're growing up and you may have brothers and sisters in the home, like I keep saying about family, you're not going to stay at home forever. You got to go to college, or you got to go off and have a business of your own, or you got to get married and go out and do things as an individual. Sure. You have things that you want to say, and the whole group is not wanting to say those same things. So you have to go out and find your own way. Michael had to. There was no way that we would never have seen Thriller if he stayed in the group.
Yeah, at some point he had to go.
He had to go.
You see him though through their growing up, he always wanted to keep his family together, the group. But at some point, right, he had to move on.
He did.
And do his thing. So at some point, everybody has to do that. Listen, this is great. This is great, fantastic. I appreciate it. So now, right, let's have a little fun, Dawn.
Okay.
Let's have a little bit more fun before we let you go, because I know my time. But I'm going to make this a special show, and I want to tell you this. I want to thank you honestly, because this show, looking at the numbers, has the most numbers I've done in the 30.
Shawn, are you just saying that?
I swear, I'm not just saying it. I'm being very honest. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm looking at my Facebook pages, and this has been the most people we've had. It's a great. Thank you. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. Today, let me just say, today is the longest day in the winter. I think it's the solstice, the winter solstice. So, and there's some stuff going on with the planets as well. And I'm not into astrology and all that. My best friend tells me all this stuff. So she said, Jupiter and Saturn are supposed to be aligning where there's an eclipse of each other or something like that. And I'm like, okay. Yes. But it's also a lot of positivity coming in, because we're in the age of Aquarius finally, just like the song said back in the 70s, age of Aquarius.
Fifth dimension.
So now, fifth dimension, exactly. So now we are actually transferring into that. And I think there's a lot of beautiful things that are going to happen on the planet. But today, starting out as the solstice, and you saying that's like a great sign for 2021 to me. So thank you. I'm sorry.
And I want to be honest and tell them we originally scheduled this for Saturday, for the 19th, and remember we had to change it.
We had to change. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So oh my God.
Yeah, it worked out. It's a beautiful thing.
It is so beautiful.
So you're awesome. You're a sweetheart, and I thank you for your positivity and your energy. And so basically what I'm going to do now, as I do with all of my guests, usually the second half of the show, we have a little fun with love, romance, relationships, that kind of thing. Yes. If you look at my title, I'm called the Romantic Funny Man.
You sure are. Yes.
Because I love romance. I love the energy. So I usually close out this show with some things with my guests. So are you open? Are you down?
I sure am. And I'm so happy to hear that a man loves romance, because we never hear that from you guys.
My goodness. Don't get me started. No, okay. I'll turn the light down a little low. So here we go.
You start lighting candles and get your champagne out and all that.
Hey, listen, you think I'm joking. Look at my candle right here. You gotta tell me. So I'm just going to ask you some basic things to get your opinions on. And again,
Okay.
if you don't feel like answering, you don't have to answer. But they're really fun, basic
It just
things.
depends. If it's risque, I'll be careful. So,
Oh
okay,
no, I
I'll be
can't keep it.
careful.
It's not risque because one, I want this show to be on the air. So it's
Okay,
definitely not
exactly.
risque stuff. I think you'll be fine.
All right,
All
good.
right,
I'm
here
ready.
we go, Dawn. What is your definition of love?
Jeez, Shawn,
Are
you
you
came
about to
up.
just call me my last name, the Cornelius?
Wow. My definition of love.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I just said communication, so I'm going to say that again. Um, communication, forgiveness, uh, patience. You got to be patient with each other. And I think you're talking about love as far as romance is concerned,
Yes.
in a
On that
romantic
level. Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So communication, love, I'm sorry, communication, patience, um, being able to listen. Because sometimes we listen to respond. Because I'll listen. I'm listening. Okay, I'm listening.
Right.
Because you're
Right.
waiting for your chance to get back in and say something else. No, listen to really hear the person. Take your time, take a breath, and then respond. So that is my definition of love is being patient with the conversation that you're having, communicating with each other, um, doing things that you know that person likes. That you know this my husband loves this or my boyfriend loves this, so I'm going to
Right.
do this for him or her.
Right.
You know,
Now,
that's my definition
there's
of
a
love.
second part to that. Why is it important to you? Why is love important to you?
Why is love important to me?
Yes.
I think we're all in this world. On one hand, I see love as a relationship as being important, and then on the other, I used to watch this show called The Human Animal on
Okay.
History Channel. I think it's on the History Channel. And Desmond, somebody, whatever his name was, and he was always talking about how animals in the animal kingdom do not link up. Whoever is the main, let me see, they don't stay together for life. They have a baby together and then they move on. And I'm like, yeah, but human beings are a little bit different. We've been taught, I think, conditioned to believe that we're supposed to be in a relationship. But then again, I love belonging to someone. I love to be like, that's my girl and that's my man. And I love feeling that way.
Good.
Um,
Nice.
so that's why it's important to me. But then on the other hand, I'm like, are we trying to put a square peg in a round hole? Like, is this fit that we're trying to make work? Is
Right.
that why there's a history of divorce? Because we can't stay together for life. No animal does that except humans
Right.
or and doves. I think doves stay together for life, and swans, I think, or somebody will correct me on that. But you know, if within the pride, if a lion is a female tiger, a lion is in heat,
Mhm.
the male who's the dominant male will come along and impregnate her. In fact, the two males will fight over each other, and who's gonna do, and then the one that beats the one down is the one that gets to.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So he gets the prize.
I
Exactly.
don't know what your movements were, but I can imagine what you were trying to say. So I'm not going to ask you.
It was all this.
Right. Okay. A couple
In
more. We're
fact,
going to do some easy ones, and I'm going to get you out of here. What is your definition of romance?
oh, romance is good. I love romance. So, um, I come home after being out all day long of shopping, or I went to my parents' house and I come home and he's got tickets for a movie for us to see. Or he'll call me and say, "Where are you right now?" "Oh, I'm at the grocery store." "Okay, hurry up. Meet me at the movie theater because I got tickets, to see a movie today." Or I come home or he comes home and I made his most delicious dinner. I don't really cook that much, but I made something that he really loves.
See, so
Even
that
if
would
it's
be
a, even if it's a TBLT sandwich, because I don't eat meat, but turkey bacon, or now I'm actually vegan, so
okay.
tempeh, and I
Okay.
make stuff that he loves. I do things that he likes, or instead of me watching something right now, I'll turn on the game because he likes to watch that. That to me is romance.
It
It
is
doesn't have
romantic.
to be you got to lavish me with gifts and all. No, no. I
Yeah,
think
because you
it's
don't
spending
cook.
spending time together. Yeah.
Right. So that's obviously a romantic thing for you to make some food for someone and you don't cook.
Exactly,
Right.
because I
All
don't
right,
cook.
Dawn, let's move on really quickly. Three
Yes.
things that attract you to a man. What are the three things that attract you to the man that you appreciate about men?
Ooh. Um, being protected is really key for me. That feels really good to have my man protect me, and not be competitive with me, but protect me. Another quality is to be social. Sometimes, especially with Black men, sometimes they like to go off in their room. They don't want to be bothered with your friends and with your family when they come over. And so growing up, I would watch my friends' dads, like they're in the room, and I'm like, what is that about? Like all these people out here and they're in the room in bed because they got to go to work the next day. And I understand you don't want to be up super late, but it's 8 p.m. you don't have to be at work until 8 a.m. So you got all these, come on, be social. So that personality trait is really important for me. So protection, being social,
Right.
because I don't like a lot of people in my home. I don't like that either. But when I'm social, let's be that.
Sure,
If we agree
sure.
to have guests over, let's be that. And then what is the third? Great in bed. You got to be great in bed. Oh wait, so intelligence. See, they're gonna think that I'm a floozy.
How did you go from great bed to intelligence? Is it intelligence or great?
Sean, because I missed a bunch of stuff. They're gonna think I'm a floozy.
No, they're gonna think that you're real. That's all it is. It's just being real. I'll give you 4. You're a special guest. I give you 4.
So you
So
got to be intelligent and spiritual.
then great
That's
bed.
5. That's 5.
And then you just jump another one. Right.
That's 5, Sean.
That's all right. I'll take 5. Okay, now tell me 3 things that turn you off about me.
Ooh, being overbearing and controlling. That's 1. Because I've had that. Being abusive, physically abusive, mentally abusive, I've had that too. Being a philanthropist, if you're gonna be, look, if you want to be out there, do your thing, you have no reason to be with me. You have no reason. There's no reason that we have to be together. I'm not forcing you to stay.
Right.
Be where you're gonna be, but you're not gonna be with me and do that too. That's not gonna happen. That is not gonna happen with me. So, yeah, being overbearing, being controlling, being physically abusive, being a philanderer and out there doing your thing. No, it's embarrassing.
All right, I got 2 more things, Dawn. I got 2 more things for you, and I'm gonna let you go. 2 more things.
Okay.
Now, this is a fantasy, but it's clean.
Mm-hmm.
Say you're walking down the street and you see a bottle, and you kick the bottle, and a genie pops out, and the genie just happens to be the romantic funny man.
Okay.
And you have one wish, one love wish that will get you through your relationship for life. What is your one wish that you would ask the romantic funny man genie for?
Oh my gosh. For life?
For life. This one wish is going to make all of your relationships successful.
Okay. And this is what I always ask God for. So I'm going to say the same thing with my genie, with my Shawn genie, my funny man genie, romantic genie, that we are in one accord with each other. We're not always going to agree with every single thing, but you have to be like-minded. You gotta like the same kind of foods, because when you go out to eat, it's like, well, I want Chinese. Well, I hate Chinese. Okay, that doesn't work. I want Indian. Well, I don't like Indian. Okay, that doesn't. I want pizza. I don't like pizza. We have nothing in common. So common thoughts, how we raise kids, or how we spend money, or how we make money. Because I think a lot of times relationships break up because he wants to spend money on frivolous stuff, or she wants to go shopping and spend money on frivolous stuff. That doesn't work for the household. So we're not agreeing on how to spend our money and how to run our house together if we don't agree on those things. So I think being like-minded, not exactly a like-mind wise, but at least having some similarities and things that we can blend on are important. Otherwise, we're fighting all the time about, no, why did you turn up the music so loud? Why did you turn it down?
Right.
We're always at odds with each other. We have to have a yin and yang.
You're asking the romantic funny man genie for like-mindedness.
Yes, that we have yin and yang together, that we are like-minded.
Okay, all right. Now here we go, Dawn. This is it. I'm going to get you off the love seat in a second. Right after this, it's a game I like to call favorite sevens. I'm just going to call something out, and you give me your favorite sevens. I mean, your favorite
sentence.
7. So it's like 7 things. Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
So here we go. Ready?
Okay. Yes.
Favorite food.
So can it be one food or a type of food?
Either one.
I would say Chinese.
Okay, Chinese food. Favorite song of all time. Favorite all time song.
Don't let go.
Okay.
You
Favorite
guys
movie.
sang lead. Okay, I sang lead on that. So
Go
yes, I'll
ahead,
take
girl.
that.
Call your song out.
Thank you.
Favorite all time movie.
Oh, The Matrix. Hands down. That's a smart movie. They got black people in prominent positions in that movie that are speaking truth. And that is a very deep movie. We are locked into the matrix. And when you start thinking outside of the box, that's when
Okay.
you unplug yourself from the matrix. That movie is smart. It's intelligent as hell.
Okay.
And black people, like I said, are the prominent ones like Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne,
Yes.
and the Oracle, that older black lady. Oh, powerful.
It's a powerful movie. Rare movie. Favorite
Very.
book you've ever read. Favorite book you've ever read.
I would say Acts of Faith. Well, Acts of Faith is different monthly. It's every month you read a different I'm sorry, weekly, daily. Actually, it's a daily word. So no, not Acts of, but it's very smart. It is very smart, but Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I forgot the author.
Okay.
Actually, I have two books: Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and then uh The Four Agreements, which is Don Ruiz.
Okay.
Do not take anything personal. Be impeccable with your word. Do not make assumptions. And I forgot the fourth agreement, but yeah, those three. Don't. I cannot not make assumptions. I try that all the time. We assume so much, and we get ourselves in trouble with that.
Yep. Yep.
We take everything personal. I am so sensitive. Oh my God, everything is like, oh, they're trying to, oh, way too much. So yeah, that's one of my favorite books because I'm really trying to hone that in
Right.
and perfect that. So
Okay. Keep on working, girl. You'll get it.
thank
Favorite
you.
vacation. Favorite vacation spot.
I have not been to St. Thomas, but I heard it's incredible. And Morocco. I want to go to Morocco.
Okay.
So I haven't been, but I want to. Now, favorite places that I have been,
You've been, yeah.
that I've been. I'm sorry.
No, that's
So
fine.
Turks and Caicos, I went there. I thought it was incredibly beautiful. We were right on the beach. It was amazing.
Okay.
And it wasn't a vacation, but I love going to London. I love visiting London because it's a melting pot of people. There's not a whole lot of, you don't feel the prejudice like you feel in America. I know it
Right.
exists.
Yes.
But people have to really point it out for me to even notice. It's
Yeah.
not
I've been there.
prevalent like here. Yeah.
Been there several
They
times.
take they take life a lot less serious, and they party and they have a good time. And I'm talking whites and blacks. Everybody just like laughs and has a good time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Favorite all time TV show.
Oh my gosh. You know what? I have to say Super Soul Sundays. I know you're gonna laugh at that a little bit, but I think Oprah brings people on her show that are thinkers. They are not here. They are outside of that. They are spiritual sometimes, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just like, you know, love attraction minded people. And I love that.
It's beautiful.
I love
All right.
that. Yeah,
Cool.
Super Soul Sundays.
All right, now I'm gonna ask you this one. 'Cause I heard you say this earlier when I asked you certain things, so I'm gonna have to ask you this one.
Okay.
Favorite time of the day since you threw this in earlier for lovemaking in a 24-hour period.
Oh my goodness. I would say when the sun is going down, it's like twilight hour, I think it's called, the magic hour of the day. Because I love being on a drive at that time as well. When the sun is going down, everything, I don't know if you notice, but from now on, when you see that hour and the sun is going down, look around outside. If you're outside especially, you can see everything is much clearer. It's beautiful. The colors are very vibrant. So the street, people's car lights and their brake lights on their car, you can really see them brighter. Everything at that magic hour is beautiful. And if you're at home and the sun is going down, it's romantic, or raining outside, or and it's twilight. Something about that time, I think, is just beautiful.
It's
And don't
fantastic.
answer the phone. Don't answer the internet. None
Don't
of that.
do
It's just you and
nothing.
your lover. Exactly.
Nothing.
That's a
No,
beautiful.
I love it when I can tell when you're really into your answers and they're coming from the internal because you smile, your eyes glitter, they glisten, and you look around. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Thank
thing.
you, Shawn.
Dawn Robinson, because you just answered that last question, you are now off the Romantic Funny Man's love seat. I listen, I
Thank
love
you.
you. Thank you so much for
Love
coming
you,
by and
Shawn.
by and
Thank you
doing
for
this. We got
having.
to do it again
You
sometime.
said yesterday. You said this is not going to be the typical interview, and it was not.
No,
You were
it's
right
totally
about
not.
that.
I was listen. I was a little nervous. I'm like, okay, I can't ask. I don't want to. I don't ask her this, but I said, you know what? I just got
No,
to be
you're
me.
good.
I got to be me and
Exactly.
ask these
You have
questions
to. No,
and just
thank
have
you
fun.
so much.
You make it. You made it so easy for me. So I thank you. Can you
Good.
please tell them where they can follow you? These folks are so much in love with what. Let me give you this awesome interview, Shawn and Dawn. Dawn, thank you so much for sharing yourself. You're such a beautiful person with a
Oh,
beautiful
thank
spirit.
you.
Continued blessings. And also another one from Chanel. Great show. You have really, again, thank you for these, not just for the numbers, but
Mhm.
again, it's a great show, great interview, and I'm so happy
Yes.
that you were able to do this. And I want to thank
Thank
Mac
you.
357 who was kind enough to say, "Hey, Dawn Robinson's a great interview. Reach out to her,
Oh
check
man,
her out."
exactly.
So
And
so
thank you
Mac,
so much, you
yeah,
guys, wherever
Mac
they're at.
did
Thank
that.
them so much.
So could you please let them know
Um,
how to follow you, and then give them one last message, and then we'll let you out of here.
yes. They can follow me on Facebook. Is Facebook and Instagram are both Dawn Robinson Diva, and Twitter is Dawn Robinson, just plain Dawn Robinson. But I'm working on my book, on my autobiographical book that I'm very proud of. I
Okay?
am. That should be out. I want that to be released February 14th. You talking about love? I want it on.
Valentine's
Yes,
Day.
I want it
Look
on
at you.
Valentine's Day. I want it released. So that's first quarter.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Break of Dawn.
Break. Oh, very original.
Yeah, because hip
Very-
hop used it to death, like on and on to the
Yes.
break of dawn all
Yes.
day long. And I was like, well, let me use my own name in my book. But it's also, it means that I'm breaking away from my past
Yes.
and going to my future. It's a new dawn, a new day, a new time in my life. So all of that is significant to my name.
Beautiful.
And the subtitle is My 2 cents. Because we talk about those 2 pennies that we made.
Right.
That's
Right.
really
Wow.
significant.
Yes.
Yes. So, and I'm also working. I got a lot of things in the works that 2021 is going to be my year, and I want the fans to
Claim it.
be there with me because
Claim it.
they're the reason that I do it. They're the reason that if I do it, they support it and it works. I'm
Yes.
grateful.
Claim it. Dawn, listen, one last favor. Please give them another positive message before you get out of here, and I'm going to let you out. But don't leave when I say goodnight to them. You stick around
Okay,
regardless
I
of what
sure
I say.
will.
So
You got it.
one more message because they're loving you so much.
I love them. Thank you so much, Zenith. Wow. My message to everybody right now today is a turning point on the planet, right? And we have seen COVID, we have seen masks, we have seen crazy presidents and a new president that seems to me to be crazy as well. There's a lot going on the planet. I want everybody to take courage. Just take a breath, take a moment to just like, even if you like 3 minutes in your day before going to work or when you get home from work, before you go to bed, put on meditation music, something quiet, or the sound of rain, the sound of whatever makes you calm. Because sometimes I use Brazilian music and it's very calming with no vocals in it. It's just instrumental. Sometimes I use Pakistani music because it's really pretty. Sometimes I just put on like the sound, like I said, of a river or the ocean sounds, whatever calms you down, because right now we are in a crazy time.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes,
it's
we are.
also changing for the better. You just got to get through that period. This too shall pass. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. So the
Amen.
planet is going to be fine. Whatever we're going through, we're giving birth to something new, and it's going to change. It's going to be better. So
And
that's my tidbit.
what a way to close out that wonderful message with that smile. Dawn, thank you so much. God bless you. Continue
Thank you,
blessings to you.
Shawn. I
I want
love
to thank
you.
everybody on Facebook for tuning in and YouTube and
Thanks,
all
you
that.
guys.
Thank you
Exactly.
for continuing to support the show. And as I always say in parting, please go with God in your heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful tomorrow. And do me a favor, please take care of yourself. Be safe. Wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for me. Do it for Dawn, because you might walk past us. I don't need to walk past you without a mask on. I know that was a selfish little thing, but I always close out that way.
Exactly.
And you got to do it that way. So from Lula May and Cornelius's baby boy, I'm Shawn Cornelius saying thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you next time on the next episode of After Dark with Shawn Cornelius.